20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Chapter 17, Captain Nemo's Revenge. After the bloody battle with the squid, I came to realize that I could no longer stay on board the Nautilus, but I had to try one last time to see if Captain Nemo would let us leave willingly. I found him in his cabin, bent over his work table writing. He frowned as I entered. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "I'm busy working." "Monsieur," I said calmly, "I have to talk to you about something which cannot wait." "Monsieur Aronnax, what I am doing cannot wait either. This book I am writing contains all my studies on the sea. With God's help, it will not die with me. The book is signed with my real name and tells the story of my life and work. It will be sealed in a small, unsinkable box and will be thrown into the sea by the last man to survive on the Nautilus, when her end comes. Captain, I agree that your studies must not be lost, but who knows where the currents will take the box? Perhaps I could keep this book for you if you gave us our freedom." "Monsieur Aronnax," cried the captain, "I will say now what I said 7 months ago. Whoever enters the Nautilus never leaves it. Now get out of here and never speak to me of this again." When I reported the captain's words to my two friends, we all agreed that escape was now urgent. We were only a few miles off the coast of New York. What better chance could we hope for? But just before dark, a hurricane hit New York. Rain was beating down in torrents, and winds were gusting up to 100 miles per hour. It would be suicide to risk an escape in a sea with 50-foot high waves. The storm drove us far out into the North Atlantic. We were all in a state of despair as the Nautilus headed east across the ocean. By June 1st, we were 300 miles from the coast of Ireland. Cruising on the surface, I was in the lounge reading when I heard a dull explosion outside the ship. I rushed up on deck and found Ned and Conseil already there. "They're firing at us," cried Ned as he pointed at a ship 6 miles away. "It looks like a warship, and I hope it comes and sinks this cursed Nautilus." Just then another shell hit the water. "Why are they firing at us?" I cried. "We didn't attack them, Then suddenly everything became clear. Commander Farragut probably had reported to the world that the narwhal was really a submarine, and warships were now searching every ocean for this terrible ship. I finally had to admit that Captain Nemo was really using the Nautilus for revenge. He was attacking the ships of the world regardless of their country, and that night he locked us up in the cell and drugged us. It was probably to keep us from seeing an attack, and the sailor, now buried in the coral cemetery, was probably wounded in a collision. There was no other explanation. Part of Captain Nemo's mysterious life was becoming clear, but so much was still unexplained. "Perhaps we can signal them," said Ned. "Then maybe they'll understand we're friends." He took out his handkerchief to wave in the air, but no sooner had he unfolded it than his arm was struck by a fist of iron. "You fool!" cried Captain Nemo. "Do you want me to nail you to the spur of the Nautilus before we ram that ship? Go below immediately, all of you." "Captain," I protested, "are you really going to attack this ship?" Captain Nemo's face was twisted with rage as he replied, "Monsieur, I'm going to sink it. They have attacked me, but my attack will be even more terrible. They shall all die. They are killers, and I am the victim. Because of them, I lost everything I ever loved. My country, my wife, my children, my father, my mother. I saw them all die. Everything I hate is there. Now shut your mouth and go below." We raced down to my cabin. Once the door was closed, I gasped. "We must escape. He's gone mad. We must try to warn that ship." "Then let us prepare to leave as soon as it is dark," said Ned. Night came, but our opportunity to escape did not. Captain Nemo stayed on deck until dawn, when the warship's cannons began firing again. Then Captain Nemo gave the order to dive. I realized that he was planning to ram the warship from below, where it was not protected by heavy steel plates. "My friends," I said to Ned and Conseil, "this terrible day of June 2nd is beginning. May God save us." The Nautilus's speed increased to the point where its entire hull trembled. Suddenly, I felt a blow, then heard the steel spur pushing into something with scraping sounds. The Nautilus had gone right through the hull of the warship, like a needle going through a piece of cloth. I couldn't stand it any longer. I rushed into the lounge, half out of my mind. Captain Nemo was standing there, silently gazing out the window. The huge warship was sinking below the surface, and the Nautilus was following it down to watch its death struggle. Sailors were climbing up the masts, trying to save themselves, but their bodies finally floated free as the sea pulled them down. I was frozen with horror and unable to catch my breath. When the ship hit the ocean floor, Captain Nemo turned away. He opened the door to his cabin and went inside. Through the open door, I saw him go over to a portrait of a young woman and two small children. He gazed at it for several minutes, then clutched it to his chest. With the portrait still in his hands, he sank to his knees and burst into deep sobs. End of chapter 17.